Good morning, my friends. Welcome to Recovery with Patrick. Let's talk about analogies, metaphors, and stories. I think all of these are great ways to make a point. And so, one of my favorite stories, and it's so rich and vibrant, and it's very old, is the story of the phoenix. In almost every culture and every continent, variations of the phoenix have been told. And in this continent, the indigenous, the natives called, native folks called the phoenix the thunderbird, right? So, what is the story? The traditional story goes that this is an immortal creature, but it doesn't live forever in one body. So, it's a very old creature. It was 500 to 1400 years in some cultures. It's beautiful, beautiful colors and hues, golds and purples, and it's bright and it's brilliant. And when it senses its end is coming, it creates a nest, and then from the sun, it'll fan the nest, right, to create a fire, and it will be reduced to ash. So, what does the story represent? So, the phoenix is not reborn despite death, it's reborn through death, right, and renewal. So, I think it applies to addiction. I'll be giving a friend of mine a coin tonight with a phoenix on the front, and it says, "Out of the ashes of addiction, recovery is born," right? That's pretty much what the phoenix is. So stay with us, stay with me here till the end, because we're going to do some new stuff and kind of a daily thing. I think in our recovery, we need to be invested in thinking about things, not just drugs and alcohol, but our lives, right, on a regular basis. So on our page, we're going to start putting a daily prompt, a journal prompt. And so think about or write on this question. So today we're going to focus probably on our website and on the page on the Phoenix a lot, because I think it's such a rich, rich story and there's so much to draw from. So I want to make sure I get it right. So apologies, I'm going to read a little bit. So here's your journal prompt for today. And think about this. What part of my old life needed to burn away so something new could grow, right? And the second one, when I look at the ashes of my past, what treasures can I find there? And I talk about this a lot, that oftentimes we look with shame and guilt on our addiction, and some of it's earned, for sure. On the other side, you've survived. You've lived through trials and difficult times and tribulations and all of these things folks who don't have this disease will never understand or experience. So I'm going to jump ahead to tomorrow's question because I think it's so good. I can't wait. I'm excited about this. It talks about sacred scars, and we're going to talk about this tomorrow. What scar, emotional, physical, or spiritual, am I learning to see as sacred rather than shameful? They are sacred, again, because of what you've survived and what you've gone through. You know, the Nietzsche quote, when you stare into the abyss stares back at you, right? The front end of that is when you be careful when you battle with monsters that you don't become the monster yourself. Because when you stare into the abyss stares back at you. Those of us who stood on the precipice and have stared into the abyss, into the darkness, we're forever changed. Right, we are in some subtle ways, some very large and important and significant ways. So what we went through certainly has changed us. Now, what are we going to do with that change? Right, we can use it. The second part of the question I'll ask tomorrow. I'll just ask this again tomorrow, but I'm so excited about this question is, how has my pain shaped my empathy for others? Right. I think those of us who have struggled and suffered through addiction understand how hard this is. So when I implore everybody at the end of my videos to be kind and gentle with yourself, it comes from hard-won experience, right? If I want to, the reason I implore everybody to do that is, if I want to extend my heart in any meaningful way to anybody else, I have to learn how to love myself, right? And it's not a cheesy platitude. I really have to learn how to just like myself, right? And sometimes it takes some time and it takes a little bit of work and consistency, right? So please like and subscribe. If you have comments, please let us know what we can provide as far as material. Um, and look at our page in the post. We're going to start posting journal prompts, something to think about every day. So I think it's important to think about what I'm doing every day. Most of us are on autopilot a lot. I am too, and I work on that. So all my best, my friends, and let's have a cup of coffee together real soon. Remember, be kind and patient with yourselves. It matters how you talk to yourself, and it matters because you're important, you're worth it, and you're worthy. We'll have a cup of coffee together real soon, my friends. All my best.